the greatest investor of modern history. Warren Buffett, George Soros, Peter Lynch, Ray Dalio. What if I told you it's none of them? Imagine a man who started his career not as a banker, not as a trader, but as a codebreaker during the Cold War. A mathematician so brilliant that Harvard and MIT begged him to teach. A man who cracked Soviet military codes and then used the same math to crack the code of the stock market. His name is Jim Simons, and his fund made over $104 billion with 66% average annual returns. This is the story of the quiet genius who decoded Wall Street. Jim Simons was born in Brooklyn in 1938. From the moment he could walk, he was obsessed with numbers. When he was just 4, he started dividing 1024 by 2, again and again, trying to see if the numbers would ever end. He accidentally rediscovered an ancient paradox known as Zeno's paradox. The idea that you can never truly reach your destination because there's always half the distance left. That curiosity defined his life. He devoured books, explored math like it was art, and saw equations as the secret language of the universe. At 23, he earned his PhD from UC Berkeley. Soon he was teaching at MIT and Harvard, publishing groundbreaking papers in geometry. One of them, minimal varieties in Riemannian manifolds, became a cornerstone of modern differential geometry. He was already a legend in academia, but Jim wasn't satisfied. He didn't just want to understand patterns in math. He wanted to apply them to the real world. During the Cold War, Simons joined the Institute for Defense Analysis, a secret research center that helped the U.S. crack Soviet codes. His job, to find hidden patterns in encrypted enemy messages. And he did. Using advanced algorithms, he built models that could detect patterns no human eye could see. The result, a faster, smarter, mathematical way to break codes. But then, he made one mistake. He publicly criticized the Vietnam War, and the government fired him. That moment changed everything. Simons decided to apply his code-breaking skills to something new, the financial markets. In 1978, he founded a small hedge fund called Monometrics. But unlike other investors who relied on instincts or news headlines, Simons looked only at the numbers. He believed the market had hidden structures, mathematical patterns that repeated again and again. The problem was, he couldn't find them alone. So he started building a team, not of Wall Street traders, but of scientists, mathematicians, and codebreakers. Simons rebranded his firm as Renaissance Technologies, a name that reflected the rebirth of scientific thinking in finance. He hired physicists, cryptographers, astronomers, people who had never traded a stock in their lives. Together, they built complex mathematical models that could predict short-term market movements. They didn't care why a stock moved, only that it moved. They called their secret weapon the Medallion Fund, a system so advanced it could identify market inefficiencies and exploit them automatically. The results were shocking. While most investors dreamed of 10% annual returns, the Medallion Fund was making 66% per year for decades. It crushed every hedge fund in history, so much so that Renaissance had to stop accepting outside investors. Today, only employees of the firm can invest in it. To this day, its algorithmic models remain one of Wall Street's greatest secrets. So how did they do it? Jim Simons never claimed to predict markets. Instead, he believed markets were like the weather. Impossible to predict perfectly, but measurable. By analyzing millions of data points, prices, volumes, correlations, his models could identify micro-patterns invisible to human traders. They didn't chase news. They chased math. And that's the real secret, removing human emotion from investing. Simons once said, "Past performance is the best predictor of future performance, if you know how to read it." He didn't believe in financial gut feelings. He believed in logic, evidence, and probability. But success didn't come easy. It took 12 years of failure before Renaissance found its rhythm. His story isn't just about intelligence. It's about persistence, experimentation, and never giving up on a good idea. Today, Jim Simons is worth over $28 billion, and Renaissance Technologies has earned over $104 billion in profit. But his impact goes far beyond money. He proved that the stock market, once ruled by emotions and instincts, could be conquered with math, logic, and data. Jim Simons isn't just the greatest investor you've never heard of. He's the man who turned mathematics into money, the man who decoded Wall Street. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to check out our video on 5 credit card truths that bank doesn't want you to know, and subscribe for more stories that change how you think about wealth. Because on this channel, we don't just talk about money,